Across this great nation, there is a culture of people who carry on a heritage. They have an intangible quality that can't be described, but it comes from deep within their hearts. They share an appreciation for the greatest things that come from Mother Earth. They watch over, understand, and care for the vast wilds of this great country. Fishing, hunting, and trapping are the foundations that Canada was built on. For over 2 centuries, we have taken to the woods and water to pursue wild game. Today, it's about conservation, preservation, and wildlife management. Whether you are a man or woman, fish or hunt, you should support sound wildlife management and proudly say, I am an angler and hunter. The Ontario Federation of Anglers and Hunters proudly presents Angler and Hunter Television. Brought to you by Canadian Tire, Nikon Sport Optics, Mercury Marine and Lund Boats, Yamaha ATVs, Browning Ammunition, Browning Firearms, Suffix Fishing Line, Rapala, Camillus Knives and Cuda Tools, Excalibur Crossbows, and Yukon Gear.
I've been fishing for over 4 decades. And over those years, I've had the opportunity to experience pretty much every fishing scenario available. Be it sturgeon on the Fraser River, brook trout from James Bay.
What a gorgeous fish.
Atlantic salmon from Ungava Bay.
That is incredible.
And even sharks in the Bay of Fundy. Now let's be honest, those are some pretty exclusive locations. And to tell the truth, I'm most at home on the deck of my Lund Pro V, fishing for largemouth bass.
It's no giant bass by any stretch, but it's a good bass. But he's mad. Okay, take it easy, go!
Which brings me to a fish that I have overlooked.
What? Carp. Look at those carp.
Yes, carp.
The carp are really thick in the shallows right now, spawning.
I will admit that my opinion of carp is pretty low.
They sure know how to wreck a good bass spot. Darn carp.
After all, they aren't the most attractive fish and are considered a coarse fish. So eating them isn't a popular thing, is it? Well, consider this. It's one of the most widely distributed and eaten fish in the world, with Western Europeans, Australians, Vietnamese, and yes, even here in North America, harvesting over 1 million tons of these pigs with fins for human consumption. So how do you fish for carp? Well, let's just say it's done from shore and has a pretty technical setup with specific gear and a lot of patience. So you won't find me doing that. But they are a coarse fish, and they can legally be harvested with a bow and arrow, which is right up my alley.
I shot to the right about 10 inches. Didn't get him. Miss one. I think this might be another one up here. He's gigantic. It's too far for me to shoot right now. But it'll be good practice. I'm gonna swim alongside him here quietly. Keep an eye on him. Oh, don't go into the weeds. There he is. Shot over him. That's 2 misses. That was a mammoth. He was broadside and everything. He's out here now deep. He's gone.
Now, one thing I do know about carp is that I see them everywhere when I'm fishing for bass. So finding them is going to be a cinch.
Right here.
Actually hitting them with an arrow, well, that might take some practice.
How did I not get him?
And more practice.
Oh, I just missed him.
And more practice.
Oh,
And more practice.
come on, Miller. Be ready. My string's not moving, I missed. Now you'll notice on this bow, There's no sights. You gotta line up the arrow just like you would with a longbow and pick your shot. So there's no sights. You can, obviously there's a let off on it like a compound bow has, so it lets off so you can hold, but it's also made so that you don't have to draw. Like I can just do a half draw if I'm close to a carp, or I could come to full draw if I want to draw on a carp. It's not like when you're bow hunting for big game. And it's set up a little differently, right? You're not going to use a release, you're just going to use your fingers. You want your pads of your fingers on those rollers, and then the idea is not to roll off, it's to open up so it snaps away. If you roll off, what happens when the arrow releases and the string rolls, it'll kick left or right. So when you practice shooting with just fingers, open up quick. You gotta open up quick. If you let it roll off your fingers, it'll kick the arrow left or right. And there's a carp right here. There he is, I see him. Ready for this? He's to the right corner of the pad bed. I don't know how I miss these things. Thought I was gonna be deadly. I was hoping I'd be deadly after I learned that trick. Not very deadly, am I? Gotta be deadly if you're gonna hit these carp.
This portion of Angler and Hunter Television brought to you by Yamaha ATVs.
So midsummer, after carp spawned and all the mayhem's over, you can usually cruise the shallows and look for them rooting. They're almost like pigs. They root around and eat snails and different things that are under the sand. They are bottom feeders, but it's not like they're sucking up garbage. They root around and dig up crustaceans. So when you find one that's actually in the middle of burrowing and rooting, those are the ones you want to try and get a shot at, because they're occupied and they're easy to focus on. Just a random swimming carp is tough to hit, that's for sure. But if you can find them when they're wallowing, that's the deal. Look for bubbles, look for mud clouds, and sneak up with your trolling motor and try and pin them.
Now, not just any bow and arrow setup will work for carp fishing. You do need a special reel and arrow that's made for bow fishing. Rather than trying to modify your bow, I suggest buying a bow that is specifically made for fishing.
So it's a pretty simple setup how this works. There's a stop here at the back of the arrow with a little bit of a rubber grommet. It cushions this. And when you're shooting, you want to make sure this is up near the front and you're on free spool. And then when you shoot, this just slides down, connects here, pulls the string off the reel, and then it gives you something to pull against if you do arrow one. It's a pretty awesome setup. I mean, I think this is probably $400, everything included. I'm having a fun time missing these carp. I'm looking forward to getting one. That's a carp, he's coming right at us. Oh, he's right in front of me. Got him. Whoa. I got him right through the back, which is a perfect shot. You want to get him in the spine like that. Should be able to, now you lay your bow down and it'll free spool and you can fight them with your hand. It's like fighting an alligator. Not that I've ever fought an alligator. I'm just gonna see how much fight he's got in him. I don't want him to go bananas on me. I'm gonna put him in the net just in case. See, it's not like when you're fishing for them, they play out and get exhausted, right? But with this, he might go hairy-carry on me. And then you gotta be careful because there's the arrow. Like that, see? Wow, that's a giant carp. Well, I'm gonna get a lot of meat off of this carp, I guarantee you that. Whew. Okay, now you gotta be careful, carp are strong fish. And with that arrow in them, you can see There, right there, he's gonna thrash. What I have to do is undo the tip. Okay, so I've unscrewed the tip. Keep that handy. Now you turn this barb around and pull the arrow out quickly. And I'm gonna put him in the live well. You know, you don't think of a net if you're bow fishing, but it's nice to have all the tools you need and utilize everything you can when you're dealing with a big fish like this. You got to take all the precautions you can. So I'm going to put him in the water to keep him cool. And then when I get home, he'll be bled out and I can fillet him. Whew. Awesome.
Since 1928, the Ontario Federation of Anglers and Hunters has been a leader in conservation. For the past 25 years, Angler and Hunter Television has been bringing the OFAH conservation message to millions of viewers to conserve and protect our great outdoors. In 1957, Ontario became the first province to establish a hunter safety training course. Over time, the course has evolved into a broader hunter education program. The OFAH administers the Ontario Hunter Education Program, which provides introductory information about ecosystems and wildlife management, hunting laws and regulations, hunter responsibilities, and the hunter's role in society. The program also reinforces the firearm safety information contained in the Canadian Firearm Safety Course. New hunters of all ages must take hunter education training and pass an exam before they can purchase their first hunting license. Angler and Hunter Television is proud to bring the OFAH message of conservation and passion for the outdoors to viewers around the world, sharing the traditions of hunting, fishing, and trapping.
This portion of Angler and Hunter Television brought to you by Browning Ammunition.
Here's another one, 2 of them.
So hitting these things is so much harder than I anticipated.
Miss. It's hard. I can't believe how hard this is.
Between light refraction and where to aim, it can be pretty frustrating. The one tip I can give is to aim low and lead the fish.
Such a strange thing to aim low. I think I went beside that fish though.
The best shot placement is actually right under the dorsal fin mid-body, so aiming a foot or so under the gills is a good idea as the fish are slowly moving.
Got him! Look out! He's around the big coda at the front. He went under the boat. I know how to fix this problem. I'm in the jungle. There he is. Yeah, this one's going crazy. Oh. It's better than topwater bass. Wow, that fish went haywire. Got lucky with him. I mean, the shade of these trees, there's carp everywhere under the branches, and we just drifted in here, and I put the talons down, and look at this guy. I'm going to let him go for one more run. I think he's got some spunk in him. He was angry. I got to tell you what, if these carp turn out to be as good as they say they taste, I'm going to have a hard time going walleye fishing for food, because this is awesome. Shooting your bow, hunting carp, and this guy's strong. Look at him bulldogging down there. I mean, it's taking, I'm holding him tight, but he's going down. Come on. What a cool setup. I can't say enough about it. It just comes like this. It's not complicated. You just shoot that bow. Whoa! He wasn't ready. I can't believe how cool it is. I think I got you now, buddy. So now what I want to do is I want to make sure I punch that arrow right through. There. Oh, this is a good one. You want to get that tip off. So I can hold him down and unscrew that tip. The net's holding him down. See that? Arrows out, everything's clear. It's always good to have a set of tools. And then he's going to the live well. Oh, yeah! Woo! Bowfishing carp, man. Oh, amazing. They're such big fish, and these are the smaller ones I'm shooting at. There's some real submarine-sized carp out here. Yeah, I tried to shoot some little guys like this, but it's impossible. But when those ones come under you like that, or you get a chance when they're butted up against something, I think that's the deal. Hitting them in open water is real hard, as you've witnessed. Yes!
The Fishing Edge is brought to you by Minn Kota and Humminbird.
To get the edge over the carp, I used my Lund Pro V Bass as a shooting platform. Minn Kota's Ultrex trolling motor and Talon shallow water anchors made for silent stalking and steady holding for shots. The Bowtech Diamond Sonar fishing bow was accurate, durable, and easy to use. A Lucky Strike net made for easy handling of the big carp, and a Cuda 10-inch titanium bonded fillet knife made for easy cuts for the smoker. So now that I've managed to arrow a couple of these river pigs, the question is, how do you prepare them? I did look online and found a few ideas for pickled carp or fresh fillets, which can be fried, baked, or frozen, but the best way to get the most out of the oily fillets was smoking them. And once smoked, they can be vacuum sealed and kept for a very long time. But trust me, once you get a taste of these, there won't be much left over.
Got him! Yes! Whoa! So this is where I put the bow down and fight my fish. That was awesome. He was underneath that tree hiding, couldn't see us. Wow, that is pure luck. Missing so many. Look, that's a perfect shot. He was sitting there underneath that tree with his head buried, and I made a perfect shot on him. Oh, I'm so gratified. I've missed so many today, and to spot this guy under that log like that, okay, he's ready to come in. And he was nosed in the log, so he couldn't see us, and he's hiding in that shade. And I had time to just back up quietly with the Minn Kota, and oh, he's still pulling, and pop him. Man, that's awesome. Now, the back meat, kind of where that arrow went through, that's the meat I want to get off of them, but I'll net them here. So when you net a fish like this and it's got an arrow in it, you just got to be cognizant that that arrow's there. And they might thrash. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to punch that arrow through here so that the tip's out, and then when I bring them in, I can take that tip off, pull the arrow out, and then handle my carp. So now I can hold them down with the net like that. And now you unscrew the tip. Oh, I'm gonna need pliers. That tip's tight. Just like that. And now you reverse that barb, see how that reverses? There, it's that easy. Arrows out. And here's my carp. Woo! I'm telling you right now, for a few $100, that bow comes as is, that kit, and I'm gonna eat carp just like that. Put them in a live well. In the box, and that's it. Oh. I mean, it's my first time. I mean, I've shot bows and I hunt with my Excalibur, but this is the first time for me bow fishing, and look at this. This is how easy it is. You reel up all that line, you've got your arrow, goes in that single arrow quiver. You gotta try it, that's all I'm telling you. But you can see I've got a big Lucky Strike net. I mean, to lift that fish in the boat on the arrow, you risk one, breaking your arrow, and two, that fish thrashing. So put a big net in there, scoop them up, handle them safely, and I'm gonna put my Cuda knife to work when I get home because they got big scales and big bones. But if you cut the back meat out of them, it's supposed to be really good. So that's what we'll do. I'm gonna pack this thing up and head home.
Closed captioning of Angler and Hunter Television is brought to you in part by Ontario Out of Doors Magazine. Angler and Hunter Television has been brought to you by Canadian Tire, Nikon Sport Optics, Mercury Marine and Lund Boats, Yamaha ATVs, Browning Ammunition, Browning Firearms, Suffix Fishing Line, Rapala, Camillus Knives and Cuda Tools, Excalibur Crossbows, and Yukon Gear. For more information on the products used in this episode of Angler and Hunter Television, visit AHTV.com. Be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Remember, conserve and protect our great outdoors.